for that. So this is the third major writing assignment in your course. Okay, so you wrote a topic proposal, and then you also wrote an annotated bibliography. And this is the third one, controversy analysis paper. So the proposal was the main idea of the paper that you will write in this course, while annotated bibliography is the list of the resources that you will use in order to write this paper. And this assignment, controversy analysis paper that we are starting today, is the first half of, in very simple words, is the first half of your final paper that you will be writing. So you will be writing the controversy analysis paper on the same topic on which you wrote your topic proposal and on which you submitted to me your annotated bibliography. Now it carries 10% of the grade. The length of the assignment is 5 to 6 pages, double spaced, with 12 point Times New Roman and APA format. Now, after we discuss this, there is something additional about APA format that we will discuss, right? Probably in the next class. We already discussed APA format, but basically that was APA format to write the annotated bibliography. Or in other words, we learned how to use APA format to write a reference list. Okay, but now we also need to learn how we write a paper, a whole paper, right? Not just the annotated bibliography, but the whole paper using APA format. So we need separate discussion for that we will do at a later stage. Today, just controversy analysis paper. Now look at the purpose of controversy analysis paper. The purpose of this essay is to demonstrate your expertise and understanding of the controversy, not to take a stand. You're only a reporter for this paper, stating the information of your controversy. So, uh, so maybe the word controversy requires a little explanation. So by controversy, we mean the debate surrounding the topic on which you are going to write your paper. So what is the debate about it? So through this assignment or through this essay that you will be writing, you will show that you are reasonably expert in and you have reasonable understanding of the debate that surrounds this particular topic. So for example, if your topic is climate change, whether it is myth or reality, then through your essay you should be able to demonstrate to your reader that you are aware of the debate around this topic. So when we say that you are aware of the debate around a particular topic, by that we mean that you are aware of the important arguments about that topic. So what do people say about climate change? Some people say that climate change is a reality. Some people say that climate change is a myth. All right. So that is a little obvious. What else people say about climate change? Well, some people provide arguments in favor of climate change as a reality. However, some people provide arguments in favor of climate change is a myth. Okay, so then what are the arguments of the team A? and what are the arguments of the team B. So those who believe in climate change as a reality, what arguments do they give? And those who believe in climate change to be a myth, what arguments do they give? So you will basically be a reporter for this paper. If you could see this word highlighted on the screen, you will be a reporter for this paper, and you will be stating the information of your controversy. All right. So it is almost obvious that in order to write this essay, where you describe the information related to your controversy, you have to use some pre-written resources. So you cannot imagine or you cannot create all this information from your own. Rather, you will be using the information that you gather from 10 resources in your annotated bibliography. All right. So when you read those resources, I'm saying it once again, I already explained it in detail. When you read those 10 resources, read them keeping this purpose in mind. The purpose is to be able to describe the information related to the debate around your topic. Now let's go into details. So you will be writing an essay explaining the history and current status of your public controversy. So in order to organize your essay, you can divide your essay into two parts. One is the history of the controversy, and the second one is the current status of your controversy. So in the history of your controversy, you can describe using your resources, 10 resources. In light of those 10 resources, you can describe when did this controversy begin and how people's or how writers' views have been changing over the history. Of course, the history of your controversy will be limited only to the resources that you are consulting. All right. So you are not kind of required to look up the like 1000 years history of a topic. No, rather the resources that you have to look up in those resources what kind of history you are able to build using those resources. So what we usually do is we read this information, we read 10 resources, paying very special attention to various dates and years which are mentioned in those articles. For example, if an article is written 20 years ago and you see the date of publication on top of it, you can reasonably say that this article is describing the condition of this controversy as it existed 20 years ago. However, if an article is published, say, this week or last week or a month ago, you can reasonably say that this article describes the current status of this controversy. Excuse me. All right. So Depending upon your topic and depending upon your resources, you will have a different history. Each one of you will have a different history and different current status of the controversy that you deal with. Now, your essay should include these things. On top of your essay, you will write an introduction with a clearly stated thesis and preview statement. Now, you understand what is an introduction.
Şimdi bana cevap vermen
Is there any question? Or you're talking to each other? Okay, so let's get back here. So an introduction with a clearly stated thesis and preview statement. So you know the concept of introduction. However, I would like to explain to you what is a thesis and preview statement. The thesis is the exact statement of the controversy that your paper is going to deal with. For example, if your topic is climate change, then your thesis statement can be that this paper studies whether climate change is a myth or a reality. That will be your thesis. It is very important that you do not take a position or take a stand with reference to your topic for your controversy analysis paper, because you are not going to argue in favor of any position in the controversy analysis paper. Rather, you are going to describe the current status of the controversy, the history and current status of the controversy. So, the thesis in your paper, in the introduction of your paper, will be usually one sentence stating what this paper is going to do. Right? So I already gave you example for a topic like climate change. Your thesis statement can be that this paper explores whether climate change is a myth or a reality. Right? You're not going to say that climate change is a myth or climate change is a reality. Don't take one side. Rather, refer to both sides. And then the preview statement. Preview statement basically is the plan of your paper. What exactly are you going to write here? So you might say in the preview statement that this paper will begin by describing the history of the controversy, and then will give a brief description of the current status of the arguments which surround this particular topic. Right? So the preview statement would almost be similar for all of you. So preview statement prepares your readers to expect what will follow in the essay. A kind of organization or kind of plan of your essay. So this is the first requirement of the essay, to have an introduction with the thesis and preview statement. The second requirement of your essay would be you should write coherent paragraphs in logical order that detail the history, current status, and language of the controversy. Right? Now, I'm sure you understand what is a coherent paragraph. So it will be well organized paragraph with a topic sentence, right? And then a concluding statement. And those paragraphs should be arranged in a logical order. For example, you might plan to have first two paragraphs on history, next two paragraphs on current status, right? And finally, language of the controversy. So this is something new. It has not been mentioned earlier. What is language of the controversy? In fact, language of the controversy is not something independent of or something in addition to the history and current status. Language of the controversy is the part of the history and current status of your paper. So the language, in fact, is the vocabulary of that controversy. Depending upon the controversy that you are dealing with, you will have a different kind of vocabulary. This thing is obvious, but we need to be consciously aware of it. For example, if you're writing your paper on climate change, the uh, common vocabulary related to that particular topic will include expressions like rising temperatures, uh, rising ocean levels, melting glaciers, uh, uh, you know, sudden climate changes, right? Now, all these expressions that I'm using, these are common expressions related to climate change, related to the topic of climate change. So, depending upon the topic that each one of you is dealing with, the vocabulary of that topic or the vocabulary related to the controversy of that particular topic will be different. Now, when you write the history and current status, make a deliberate effort to include the appropriate vocabulary, to use the appropriate vocabulary to describe the history and current status. In other words, do not use very simple day-to-day conversation, but at the same time, do not use very complex words, right? So I hope you understand that you can use relevant vocabulary for a topic without unnecessarily complicating it, right? So keep it as simple as it is or as it can be, but it should be appropriate for the topic that you are dealing with. And then finally, there should be a conclusion, right? So in terms of organization, you might have one paragraph of an introduction, one paragraph, a conclusion, and then maybe 2 to 3 paragraphs of history, 2 to 3 paragraphs of current status. I mean, I'm just giving you a rough idea of how you can organize it. So basically, you have to write 5 to 6 pages, double space. Therefore, you can determine how many paragraphs will you need for the history and current status. For the introduction and for the conclusion, of course, one paragraph is just enough. But for history and current status, write as many paragraphs as you will need to meet the word limit of 5 to 6 pages. And then finally, you will be attaching annotated bibliography of 10 resources along with the paper. Now, this annotated bibliography, students, is almost the same bibliography that you already have submitted to me. However, when you start writing your paper, you might realize that you need to make a few changes in the annotated bibliography. You might like to add another resource, or you might like to replace a resource with another resource. If that is the case, you can do that. Okay, but make sure that you attach that annotated bibliography with this assignment which you have actually used to write this paper. Okay, in OPVL format you already have done that. Okay, the format that you used, that already was an OPVL format. So here is an important note. Your thesis is not your opinion on the issue. It is simply a statement that encompasses the purpose of this paper. This note is with reference to this this part of the paper. I already explained it to you that you should not take a stand. Just describe what your controversy is about. All right. So this is the paper, that you are supposed to write. Uh, I explained to you its important parts and its overall organization. Let me know if you have any questions right now.